I ask you finally about the case of David Hicks, something that has been a bit of a strain on the relationship over the years. The plea bargain that has been sorted out, of course, has seen him plead guilty to providing material support for terrorism, but it will see him returned to Australia and freed from jail, or returned to Australia and freed from jail by the end of this year. A lot of people have suggested that this is a fairly good political outcome for both sides. Was there any political pressure in achieving this result?
I wouldn't describe anything that went on as political pressure. However, both members of the Labor opposition and members of the government expressed time and again to me, to the Secretary of Defense, to the Attorney General, and to the President himself their frustration at the amount of time that it was taking in order to establish the military commissions and to formally bring David Hicks to trial on war crimes. And I've mentioned before that the reason for that was our devotion in the United States and commitment in the United States to the rule of law, so that we allowed enemy combatants to test the very processes under which they would be tried. And as a result of that, the delay occurred. It's not Mr. Hicks's fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's just part of our political process in which we utilize over a period of time our judiciary to make sure that we have the delicate balance right between national security and individual rights and human liberty.
Well, President Bush has a long-standing position of not negotiating with terrorists. Here's a guy who did confess to providing support to terrorism. How does negotiating a plea deal, a plea bargain with him fit with that long-standing policy of the Bush administration?
Well, one is bargaining with prosecution, bargaining with a well-represented individual. This is completely different. This is a normal sort of process in a plea bargain that goes on in civilian criminal courts and goes on in military tribunals. To my understanding, based upon all of the news reports that I read before the plea bargain, all of the facts that Mr. Hicks agreed could be proven beyond a reasonable doubt were well known and undisputed in the news media, in terms of his training in Kosovo, training in Pakistan, training in multiple camps in Afghanistan, of his coming in from a neutral country after September 11 into Afghanistan to engage in military activities against the coalition forces, including Australian forces. So I don't see that as bargaining with terrorists. I see that as a normal legal process which concludes the issues on whether one was guilty or innocent of a war crime, and Mr. Hicks admitted that he was guilty of one.
All right. Ambassador Robert McCallum, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you very much for your time with